Released in 2004, Maria Full of Grace is a powerful drama film that sheds light on the dangerous world of drug trafficking in Colombia. The film explores themes of desperation, survival, and difficult choices made by individuals who are struggling to make ends meet in impoverished communities. The film opens in a rural Colombian setting, where the protagonist, a 17-year-old girl named Maria Alvarez, is struggling to make a living by removing thorns in roses in a factory. Maria lives in a small apartment with her grandmother, sister Diana, and Diana's young son, Paco. Despite her challenging circumstances, Maria is a strong-willed and independent young woman who is not afraid to stand up for herself. One day, when her boss denies her a bathroom break, Maria decides to quit on the spot, driven by her impulsiveness and determination to live life on her own terms. After quitting her job, Maria faces pressure from her family to apologize and return to work, as their financial situation is dependent on the income she brings in. Maria's family recognizes that work is scarce in the area and that she cannot afford to be unemployed for long. However, Maria's decision to quit has also garnered her praise from some of her peers, who admire her for standing up for herself and taking control of her life. Despite the differing opinions of those around her, Maria remains determined to find a better path for herself and her family. While attending a dance in the local plaza, Maria and her friend Blanca catch the eye of a charming young man named Franklin. As they dance and socialize, Maria finds herself drawn to Franklin's charisma and charm, and they quickly strike up a conversation. On a different day, Maria reveals to her boyfriend, Juan, that she is pregnant. However, rather than accepting his offer of marriage, Maria starts an argument with Juan about where they would live if they were to get married. Maria admits to Juan that she does not love him and that she wants more out of life than just settling down and starting a family. By ending her relationship with Juan, Maria takes control of her own destiny and refuses to settle for a life that doesn't fulfill her dreams and realizes she wants more than a life like her sisters. As Maria waits for a bus to take her to the city to find work, she runs into Franklin again. He pulls up on his motorcycle and offers her a ride, during which he suggests that she consider working as a drug mule. Despite Maria's initial reluctance, Franklin convinces her to meet with someone who can offer her the job. Maria is torn between her desire for financial security and her fear of getting caught and imprisoned for smuggling drugs. Eventually, Maria decides to take the risk and embark on a dangerous journey that will change her life forever. Franklin introduces Maria to Don Javier, a seemingly kind and gentle middle-aged man who interviews her for the job of being a drug mule. Don Javier asks Maria several questions, including whether she has a boyfriend, any digestive issues, and if she gets easily frightened. Satisfied with her answers, he explains that the job involves flying to New York with the illegal drugs and delivering them to his colleagues after passing through US customs. Don Javier also tells Maria that the job pays a large sum of money, around 7 to 8 million pesos, or approximately $5,000. To tempt her further, he gives her roll of bills as an advance payment. Despite Maria's initial reluctance due to the risks involved, her desperation for money leads her to consider taking the job. As Maria rides the bus back home, she spots Lucy Diaz, who works for Javier, and takes the opportunity to introduce herself. After arriving home, Diana pressures Maria to go back to the rose factory in order to earn money for Paco's medicine, who is running a fever. Although feeling resentful, Maria reluctantly hands Diana some money from her roll of bills and retreats to her room to sulk in frustration. Maria is still uncertain about taking the risky drug mule job, so she decides to visit Lucy Diaz, who had already made the trip twice to New York. Lucy shares her personal story of hoping to reunite with her sister Carla, who had immigrated to New York 4 years ago. Lucy expresses regret about not contacting Carla when she visited New York because she felt ashamed of working as a drug mule. To show Maria how it's done, Lucy uses large grapes as a substitute for heroin pellets and demonstrates how to swallow them whole without choking. She also cautions Maria that she would be expected to swallow 60 to 70 latex encased pellets of heroin powder and then excrete them after arriving in New York. Lucy emphasizes the importance of ensuring that the pellets are well wrapped because if they rupture inside the stomach, the person will die of a heroin overdose. Afterward, Maria discovers that Franklin has also approached Blanca with the same opportunity to work as a drug mule. However, Blanca has already committed to the job and there is nothing Maria can do about it. On the other hand, Maria lies to her family, telling them that she has found a job in the city, and returns to Javier's house. There, he gives her medicine to slow down her digestion. which will make it easier for her to swallow the pellets. Maria is then instructed to swallow 62 pellets of heroin, which she does with great difficulty and pain. Javier pays her $800 and promises the remaining balance of her payment upon delivery. Maria is given a round-trip plane ticket to New York and a passport. She is also warned that her family will be harmed if she fails to deliver all the pellets. At the airport, Maria spots Blanca, Lucy, and another mule who is unknown to her. They all board the plane and make their way to New York. During the flight, Lucy begins to feel unwell, and she gives Maria the address of her sister in Queens. Shortly after arriving in New York, the fourth smuggler is caught by customs officers, leading to suspicion about Maria, who is searched and questioned. The officials, however, are unable to perform an X-ray on her stomach because she is pregnant, and thus they cannot prove that she is a drug smuggler, leading to her release. Outside the airport, two aggressive young men force Maria, Lucy, and Blanca into a car and take them to a hotel room in New Jersey, where the women are given laxatives. In the hours following their arrival at the hotel, Maria, Lucy, and Blanca begin the process of excreting the pellets. They meticulously count the number of pellets and then wash them off. Maria and Blanca successfully complete the process, but Lucy begins to feel worse and worse, despite Maria's efforts to help her. While Maria is taking a nap, she is jolted awake by the sound of the men taking Lucy away. When Maria searches the hotel room, she finds blood in the bathtub, and she realizes that they are in grave danger. Maria wakes up Blanca, and they hastily grab the pellets and flee before the men can return. Despite their language barrier, Maria and Blanca take a taxi to Collar's address, hoping to find Lucy. Upon arrival, they discover that nobody is home. Blanca begins to feel uneasy about entering Collar's building and eventually decides to leave and walk off alone, leaving Maria behind. The taxi driver gets impatient and drives away, stranding Maria in an unfamiliar area. However, Maria remains patient and continues to wait outside Collar's building. Soon after, Collar and her husband, Pablo, return to their apartment and find Maria waiting outside. Maria explains her situation, telling them that she is a friend of Lucy who had given her their address. Collar and Pablo kindly offer Maria a temporary stay in their small apartment. Blanca, having no other place to go, comes back to Maria and Collar's apartment, casting doubt on Maria's explanation for being there. Collar takes the two women to meet Don Fernando, a benevolent Colombian immigrant who is well known in the community for providing assistance to fellow Colombians. However, Blanca refuses his help, much to Maria's dismay. While nervously fidgeting with her purse, Blanca inadvertently exposes the heroin pellets concealed inside. Upon noticing the drugs, Fernando advises the women to return them promptly to prevent harm to their families. Blanca and Maria engage in another dispute. After their argument, Blanca and Maria part ways once again. Maria spends some time wandering around the neighborhood, hoping to clear her mind. Eventually, she stumbles upon a prenatal clinic and decides to get an examination. During the examination, the doctor conducts an ultrasound and Maria is overjoyed to hear her baby's heartbeat for the first time. Before she leaves, she schedules another appointment for 2 weeks later, even though she doesn't expect to still be in the city by then. Afterward, Maria goes back to Fernando's office, where he shows her a photograph of a woman who was found dead, her stomach brutally ripped open. To Maria's horror, she recognizes the woman as Lucy. When Fernando instructs Maria to tell Carla about her sister, she is hesitant and decides to tell Carla that she is planning to return to Colombia instead. However, Carla misunderstands her and thinks that Maria is homesick. She tries to convince her to stay by saying she should feel proud of providing for her family and giving her unborn child a better life. Later, when Fernando contacts Carla to make arrangements for returning Lucy's body to Colombia, Maria tries to clarify the situation but struggles to do so. Carla is devastated after discovering that Maria has lied to her about the true fate of Lucy. As a result, Carla angrily banishes both Maria and Blanca from her apartment. The two young women then contact the dangerous individuals responsible for providing them with the pellets. Despite the threats and intimidation from the thugs, Maria manages to collect the payment owed to them. However, when she requests Lucy's share of the money to pay for her funeral expenses, the men refuse to oblige. In a selfless act of kindness, Maria gives Fernando her own money to cover the cost of Lucy's body repatriation. Maria then attends Lucy's funeral and pays her final respects before saying goodbye to Carla. Along with Blanca, Maria heads back to the airport, determined to return home. Just as they are getting ready to get on the plane, Maria makes a life-altering decision. holding onto the image of her baby's sonogram and the card for the prenatal clinic appointment. She decides to stay in New York. Blanca goes back home alone, without Maria.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like. It really helps the channel.